overcoming fear. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Rural Report, our beacon of hope, guiding us through the storms we cope. United we stand, against the odds we fight. Rural Report, shining in the night. Rural Report.
Hello again and welcome back everybody to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and I know that it's not my most popular thing that I do, but I do a morning chat, and it's basically, I try and keep it 5 minutes-ish, and I just do a quick video just to kind of start everything off. Normally I post it somewhere between 6:30 and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do it Monday through Friday, and I really enjoy it just because it is the one to where I have very little planning. I have no thought process behind it until I get into my car and drive to work. That is where I come up with my idea on what I want to talk about and all that. And then when I pull into the parking lot at work, I make and post my video. So I had one very recently that was pretty popular. It got a decent amount of comments, views, likes, all that. And then I got a lot of people that reached out to me, and it was on the Home Alone is a prepping movie. And I had somebody actually specifically request that I make a full length, long form content on that so I can expand on more than just a couple of minutes. So that's what this is going to be. Home Alone is basically a prepper movie. Most movies are, right? You have some sort of a scenario and they have to figure out how to overcome that obstacle in order to, save the day. But I really like Home Alone. Why? Well, if you kind of go through and you break it down, Mr. McAllister, okay, Kevin, the young kid that's the star of the movie, showed absolutely brilliant resourcefulness. His improvisation, if I can speak English, the way that he was able to improvise, those skills, those are some of the most essential skills for just about any prepper. Uh, and the way that you can go through, and yes, I know it's fake and I know it's a Hollywood movie, but if you take away from it, there is a young boy that uses everyday items, things like basic hand tools, paint thinner, tar, things like that, things that a lot of people have around the house, in the basement, the garage, the attic, the shed, whatever. And he's using these as, makeshift booby traps and different things like that. Okay, and really what this is, it's really kind of highlighting the importance of that outside of the box thinking, the thing that I think some of the prepping, people in the community, especially some of the new people, they start getting some of these other channels, or they start getting motivated by some of these people that go, you must do this. And really, prepping is extremely personal. In the movie, he was by himself. He didn't really have any help. Yeah, towards the end, he got some help and things like that. But he tried to kind of lone wolf this. Now, it wasn't, he wasn't planning on lone wolfing it, but he made the best what he could with the situation that he was presented. And he did it very well by thinking outside of the box, that improvise, overcome, and adapt. And really, one of the things is strategic planning. Okay. So he was very clever on taking these everyday household items and putting them around the house, and being clever by anticipating, the burglars or the people that was coming in, the points of entry and where they would go as they went through the house, if they made entry and things like that. And it made for a very good Hollywood movie, but it really goes through and it showcases, because we, as a prepper and a prepping mindset, thinking outside the box, you can really start learning from this. Okay, the ability that he had to not only assess the situation, assess the threats, and really plan accordingly for what was potentially going to happen. He didn't know exactly. He didn't have a crystal ball to know exactly what was going to happen. He just started going through and going, okay, here's a door. What can I do to uh, deter them, prevent them? What can I do if they get past that first line of defense? Where would they go then? And he was able to go through and cover a lot of his bases. Um, and really just showcased the ability to adapt to what's going on, to overcome all those obstacles, and really kind of navigate a really complexity of a situation. And really just showed off true resilience in a very unexpected situation. Made for a good movie. And so I kind of want to drill into some of these, and so that way we can kind of highlight some of this. So one of the things is he had really good observational skills. He was good at uh, looking out and identifying different threats and different other things. So, at the very beginning, he would go through and he would use a lot of deterrence. They didn't break in first thing in the movie. What did he do? He started flipping lights on, and he had the little cardboard characters moving around. He made it look like there was a lot of people there when it was just him, and it worked. And we could utilize that. Let's say that you have a group of whatever, 10, 15, 20 people, and let's say that some are out over here, some out or over there. They're doing whatever supply run, or they're running over to the next uh, you know group of people or whatever, or some's on a overnight hunting thing, and there's a very few of you there, and all of a sudden some unexpected group of people start coming up, some unwelcome guests. Well, could you make it look like, wow, there's a lot of people there? There's a lot of movement. There's lights. There's different voices, different whatever. It's a deterrent. It's not real. You just made it look that way. And maybe what it'll do is it'll second guess them. They had maybe some information that there's only going to be one or two of you there, but if you can make it look like there's a lot of you there, it might at least give you some time. It may make them second guess what they're going to do. It might deter bad people doing bad things. And so, we can sit there and we can kind of learn from some of these things, and identifying strengths and weaknesses to go through and go, okay, this right here is a strong point, so I don't need to focus a bunch of attention, but over here is a very weak point. And so I definitely need to put more time, energy, and resources over here to fortifying, deterring, putting up multiple layers of defense and things like that. Uh, and to kind of go through to where, as the movie goes through, he was very much aware of not only his situation of situational awareness, but the environment of where he was at. And so, he had it in different layers of being outside of the home and just inside of the home, and, different levels of the house and different things like that. So, you know, I get it. It's a kid. I get the whole Hollywood. I get it. I know that I'm sitting here in my mind that there's going to be people in the comments going, "This is all fairy tale, make believe, whatever." I get it. But what I'm saying though is we can still learn from this, because uh, Kevin had a lot of resourcefulness when he went through. Okay, and it's not just his booby traps and things. He utilized basic hand tools as he was crafting a lot of this stuff. He went through and he basically demonstrated the value of being prepared and knowing your environment, knowing the resources and the things that are around you, having that outside of the box thinking and what it is that I can do with it. Uh, there's a lot of people that would look at child's toys and kick them out of the way. Those are useless. There's people that's going to come kick my door, and what are these going to do? Well, he looked at, little racing cars or whatever and go, hey, that's a tripping hazard. If I put these here, there's a possibility that it might deter them, or they might slip and fall on them, or, whatever. And he utilized it instead of just kicking it out of the way. He made use of everyday objects. Um, it's again, it's the whole thing that he went through and secured his perimeter. Um, Going through and knowing his surroundings, having a really good situational awareness. And it's a lot of things that we go through and we talk about, not only on this channel, but a lot of the other channels. If you go through and you look, what did he do? He went and he had a whole bunch of snacks and things, on his, like, his first or second night. He was, doing his own little party of eating all the candy and different things like that. Now, ideally, yes, it's not good for a long-term survival, but he was really happy. It was comfort food, right? But it also showcased the importance of having a stash. It's having food and water prepped and ready to go, that if there is an emergency situation, you're able to utilize it. And it also shows it's good to have comfort food as well, especially in that kind of early onset. You're going to be very anxious. You're going to have that, the higher stress levels and things like that. And to have that little bit of a sugar rush, or to have that comfort food to kind of bring things back a little bit, it's actually a pretty good idea. And then to be able to go kind of beyond that, um, it kind of showcases a little bit of having a well-stocked kit, to having essential tools and supplies. We can go through and prepare. He had to be very reactionary. What do I have around me? Well, think about if he had time to actually full on prepare. Yes, he did a little bit. And what did he do? He identified the threat and knew that, there's people that's going to come in doing bad things. And so he sat down with literally, a crown and paper, and drew a battle plan. Okay. I mean, how many people out here want to get into preparedness and will not put pen to paper and make a plan? But a child in a movie came up with a battle plan, used the things around him, put it into action, and actually went through and then, was pretty successful. So, I kind of want to be able to point some of this stuff out. Um, and the way that he had different forms of communication in the movie, the walkie talkies and all the other different things. He's bringing up comms and different things in there. The way that he knew the area of where he was. So he did traverse, he did go out to the store and go out to the church and go, so he knew the area around him. He was knowledgeable of at least some people and neighbors and things like that. He knew how to go through and get other resources, so he knew where the store was. So in the prepping thing, where would I go to get resources? How would I get there, get back? How would I play it? I mean, he tried to be very gray man in there, even when people were starting to question him and things like that. I think that he did a pretty decent job to, go through and be a little bit of a gray man when it comes to that. Uh, but I think, though, that what I really want to do is just highlight, this is one of those movies that I think is kind of a classic, if you will. And if you can have that little bit of an open mind where, at some point in time, go through and watch this movie. I'm sure you can probably find it streaming or free, just about anywhere. Maybe if you're like me, you have it on VHS or DVD, Blu-ray, something like that, and look at it. You know that probably most of you have seen this movie probably tens, if not, almost 100 times by now. But look at it through a prepping lens and just go through. If I was him, what would I do differently? And start looking through and start pointing things out and going, hey, uh, you know, here's where he's using comms. Here's where he's being resourceful. Here's where he made a mistake. This is what I would have done differently, and things like that. And watch and see how much all you get a all new perspective on this movie. And then you'll be able to do it with other movies and TV shows and different other things that you encounter. And I think, though, it's a really good exercise to be able to go through and just kind of open your mind and expose kind of a whole new lens to things. And that's really kind of what the whole point of this video and things like that, and to have a little bit of fun. But I really think, and kind of wind this down, is that this film kind of offers a valuable lesson, if you will. It kind of teaches resourcefulness, self-reliance, resiliency, um, and that unexpected things can happen to absolutely anybody. To have a big family like that, and to forget somebody, I could definitely see it. We probably see it a lot on the news of somebody left somebody at school or left somebody at the park or whatever. Things happen. I get it. And so that kind of goes into a thing. SHTF, it's an unexpected event that can happen at any time. And so now, while we can, this is that time for us to start opening up our minds and thinking outside the box, to start being resourceful, to start going through and doing a little bit of like wargaming. What would you do if you was doing a real war game scenario in your house? How would you Kevin McAllister it? How would you home alone your house? How would you do different lines of defense and deterrence and things like that? It's a really fun thing to do, and you can do it with your family. You can do it with the kids. You can do it, at a little party get together or whatever. Do it with the mag. It's going to be a kind of a fun thing to be able to do, and I know that it's a fictional film. It's a made up Hollywood, whatever. I get that. But the principles can still be applied to today for everyday preppers, because while some of it, yes, is over the top, most people, those are everyday objects and items that he uses. There's nothing in there that is not just some common thing that you could probably find at just about anybody's house. It's the manner in which they were utilized that really goes through to where he was able to use them in a manner that was going to get him out of that situation, to overcome those obstacles. And for us to be able to kind of have fun with it and visualize a real world scenario where, what would we do looking over here? What do I have? What could I use? I think it could be very, very beneficial. And we can go through and we can kind of be inspired by this and learn from it. I think you can really gain some valuable insights into the importance of preparedness, of situational awareness, from resourcefulness, from resiliency. There's a lot of prepping qualities that we can go through. The list kind of goes on that I think that this movie showcases. Now, was that its intent? Absolutely not. It was just supposed to be some Christmassy, fun little money making, family video. But it doesn't mean that we have to utilize it that way. We can use outside the box thinking, and we can get inspiration from just about anything that we do. It doesn't necessarily have to be some survival movie like the new movie Homestead that's out and things like that. Are those great movies? Yeah, you can probably pick up quite a bit out of it, but it doesn't have to be that. The one of the most fun things I think about being in the preparedness community is to be able to take something that most people don't see, they don't realize, and to be able to pick it apart and go, you know what? I bet I can use that. You know, I can take this right here, and if I modify it a little bit, I could do this with it. Or, I would do this differently. Or, okay, that right there, that's a bad situation. I wouldn't have gone into that building, or, whatever. And go through and look at it into different lenses. If an SHTF event was to happen, how would it go through in this movie? Or, if the movie has some sort of, obstacle or whatever the main problem is of the movie. Uh, you know, is it some apocalyptic sort of a thing? Is it some sort of a personal SHTF? How would you get through it? And I think it might be a little fun for some of you guys. So, but in the interest of trying to keep this semi short, I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up with this one. Um, and see what you guys think. I enjoy doing these. I think these are fun. I think a lot of you kind of enjoy uh, being able to be exposed to that. There's movies and TV shows and different things that it's something that you don't have to sit there and mindlessly do. You can get things out of it. You're not going to get life altering stuff out of each and everything, if you will. Uh, but it all goes into kind of your mindset going into it. If you can go into watching a movie, the first time or the 10th time or whatever, and look at it. Yes, maybe if it's your first time, look at it for entertainment value. I get it. If this is some old rerun that you've seen 10 times over, step back and look at it as a prepper and go, what is it? What can I take out of this? What's a really good idea? And I think you'll be surprised. You're going to start seeing this in a whole new light. And if it happens to you, let me know. I'm very, very curious, because maybe we can do a little mini series and go through and do some of these. What is a movie that's kind of like Home Alone that we can dub a prepper movie? Curious to see what kind of a list and library that we can create. But that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this. You got maybe a little bit of an entertainment value or whatnot. I know it's not quite the normal video that I do, but you would have fun from time to time, right? So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned, because there's more information to come. And with that, remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.